What is up? Welcome into the Double FU, the FU times 2, the fantasy football universe. I am Jeremy Schulman here, joined by Addi, Rocco, and of course, Big Mike with the short guy energy himself, Mike Anthony. We are here to talk about the Senior Bowl, anything and everything. And these three guys were there. So you're going to get all of their insights from what they experienced throughout the 3 days. And of course, they got out of Dodge just in time because I hear a winter storm's coming through and it's looking awful down there for the game that's about to kick off in I think about 90 minutes here or so. So that's about it for an intro. Guys, how we doing? We're going to start with you, Addi. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? Addi here from League Champ, running contests all offseason. It is fantastic to be here. Could not be more excited. I'm really hyped to go through the show sheet. I saw that you didn't mention my boy Cyrus Allen here from Cincinnati. The wide receiver absolutely killed it at the Senior Bowl. It was really awesome to be out there. And I got to meet the towering figure of Mike, who I see is sitting a little bit taller in his video stream now.
Speaking of short kings, we got the shorter Rocco for some reason on the screen. Rocco, what's up, my man?
I don't know. I'm about the same height as Addi, but Addi stands for the podcast. So everybody's towering over me. I guess I got to get a chair that lifts me up a little bit so I can get as tall as these guys in their little windows. But yeah, it was a great time, man. I enjoyed the networking there. I enjoyed meeting Addi in person, Mike Anthony in person. A lot of people in our industry, are really cool actually when you talk to them. So I'm talking about making connections, getting new people on the podcast, and seeing some really cool wide receivers out there. They have a lot of tall wide receivers at the Senior Bowl, and I wonder if the Tall Kings are going to come back and make an impact in the NFL pretty soon.
They definitely might. Rocco also, I believe it was the Empire League or the FFU Standard League, had a dominant 14-0 undefeated season and kicked all of our asses there. So Rocco knows.
I think that was 19-0. If you want to check.
Yes.
No, not 19-0, 16-0. I don't know. It was a lot of zeros. And I appreciate you that call out. I almost forgot because I won so many leagues this year. But that one was pretty cool to beat all of you guys. Nice. Except for Addi. Awesome. Addi wasn't in it.
Listen, we're gonna have to get another one fired up really soon, and we'll do that. And of course, Mr. Short King himself, Mike. Mike, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's never gonna fucking go away. Doing good. I'm glad to be home, but I'm not because it's even colder here than it is in Mobile right now. It's about 7 degrees outside. My wife and I just went and did some shopping for our bathroom, so that's not great. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about these dudes. It was a fun week. A week of players that we weren't really super high on coming into the week, kind of opened our eyes a little bit to some new guys that we hadn't seen. And that defense in general, the defensive class that we're getting in the NFL draft is going to be dominant. And that showed out again this week.
Yeah, I totally hear that. I have a lot of guys on my list, and I'm going to have IDP Hunter Steve on the show in a week or two to discuss all those guys because I don't know what the hell's going on IDP, but I at least try in a couple of different leagues. But let's segue from that into this. I want to get from you. You can jump in any order if you have anything that stands out to you, but just your biggest takeaway, one guy, one thing from the Senior Bowl experience. Anyone can jump in.
I'll go ahead, Addi.
No, please, Mike. It's your show.
All right. I will go with Tyren Montgomery, wide receiver from John Carroll. I think that's the biggest story of the weekend. A D3 guy, a guy who didn't start playing football until 2.5 years ago, was a basketball player. I believe they said a walk-on at LSU, and then COVID hit and everything got shut down. So that was really cool to see. And it was even better to see that he really dominated it the first 2 days of practice. He did slow down a little bit. Day 3, he had some drops, but again, drops are going to happen, especially with the amount of targets he was getting during the week. So that's impressive to see. I was just, he was out there dominating against guys like Colton Hood from Tennessee, Chris Johnson from San Diego State, if I'm not mistaken. So these are guys that are going to be drafted in the NFL draft. And it looks like to me he's done enough, especially if you check Twitter and the draft analysts and everybody are ready to get on him as well now, that he's at least made himself, a back end day 3 or mid day 3 guy where it could be 4th, 5th, 6th round pick. And let's see, it'll be interesting to see if he gets a combine invite now as well, because I don't think that was on the table up until this week.
Yeah. I also saw the videos that he made during COVID of him learning how to run routes because he hadn't run routes before. I don't know if you saw that. Wasn't necessarily impressive, but then joined a flag football league and then put together a flag football highlight film and got the offers. So crazy story from him. Any other notes on Tyren Montgomery, guys?
I'll just go. He absolutely wrecked some high quality DBs, and especially in the first 2 days. Like Mike makes a good point there that in day 3, it was a little bit rusty. We saw him dropping the ball a bit. We saw that from a lot of guys out there, especially as it got colder later in the night. We saw the football hitting the ground a bit more, but he was able to get open in a phone booth out there. We saw a couple big plays, but in a week where we saw taller receivers get locked up from time to time, he was consistently open.
Nice. Awesome. Rocco, I'm going to go to you for your next takeaway. What are you thinking here about the experience at the Senior Bowl? How'd you feel about it?
Like I said, the networking was amazing. Like anybody who's anybody in the industry was basically there. You see people that you follow on Twitter, you watch their podcast, and they're just walking around. But the biggest thing that I took away from this class at the Senior Bowl was just how unimpressive the quarterbacks were. Pavia did not look like an NFL quarterback. I don't think he's even going to get drafted. He was small. His arm wasn't as impressive as I thought it may be. His ball fluttered downfield. He can throw some bullets in the short and somewhat intermediate game, but he had trouble seeing over the line. He put the ball on the ground maybe 6 times in the portions that I saw of the practices. Garrett Nussmeier, he looked kind of smallish, and he wasn't very impressive. He would not throw downfield. He just kind of checked it down to the running backs and the tight ends. Who else? Mike Green. Mike Green?
No, Taylen Green.
Taylen Green. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he looked like the most impressive guy there, but he started throwing picks left and right in the later portion of the practices. He's an interesting stash, but he's a few years away. But yeah, the guy from Illinois, he looked like he had commanded a huddle, but his footwork was terrible. I just didn't really, nobody really in that whole quarterback class impressed me. Maybe it was the defense. The defense seemed like they were a step ahead of the offense for basically all of the practices, but I'm not investing heavily in any of those guys that were at the Senior Bowl.
So, Rocco, what you're telling me is Tyler Shough is safe.
Tyler Shuck's a fucking 10-year starter. What are you talking about? This is not even a conversation. Like, he's gonna play until he can't play anymore. Until he's ready for the siege, for the home.
It's gonna be 45 years old in 10 years, man.
The one thing you got to remember, though, Rocco, is Nussmeier played at LSU. He's right there. His dad, Nussmeier's dad, is the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. Gotta watch out, man.
Yep.
You're gonna see a lot of checkdowns in your future.
Hey, I understand. We do have a hole at QB3. Maybe we trade Rattler to the Eagles so they can have a real quarterback that can throw the ball and complete a forward pass. So maybe you got Rattler in your future. I just need your first round pick.
Oh, get out of here.
I love it. I love it. Addi, and any other thoughts about quarterbacks or anything you want to expand on there, Rocco was saying?
Yeah. I mean, the QB position was absolutely atrocious for most of the day. Taylen Green actually had a couple really nice throws. That one to Malachi Fields that's been bouncing around was absolutely lights out. We saw Altmaier play okay from Illinois. He was fine. The footwork was really rough. He looked like his pants were on fire most of the times when he dropped back. But aside from that, Nuss was clearly only out there to show everyone he was healthy. He made it real clear the second he got the ball, he was trying to get it out of his hands and just show that he can move. I don't love seeing that, but you can tell he has a lot more to lose than these guys. Like Taylen Green could be going day 3 and actually could turn into a Joe Milton-esque, developmental quarterback. Nuss is hoping that he's going in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen based on what I saw out there.
Well, I think his agent slipped McShay some money or some crypto because McShay was saying he was going around 2. Mike, what are you saying?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you guys have said. He said Rocco said drugs.
Yeah.
I wanted to feel bad for Pavia because all the talk, and you could see it immediately on the field, was the size. But then I was also seeing clips of Lee Hunter absolutely just almost just destroying that poor gentleman in Pavia in the pocket. So I did feel bad at that point. He has some arm talent, right? But he doesn't get past the first read. You could say that for pretty much all these guys except for Taylen Green, to be honest with you, because he's moving around trying to make something happen. He's scrambling out of the pocket. To be honest, that was the most impressive quarterback this week to me, just from an athletic standpoint, the size standpoint. And honestly, just listening to him talk at the podium, he's very – it sounds like you're just having a normal conversation with him, right? It's not just interviewed, scripted. Like when you hear Nussmeier, it's okay, task. With Green, it was like, here's what's going on. Here's how I'm feeling. Here's how everything's going, blah, blah, blah. He just felt like a general conversation kind of person. And I respect that as somebody who's low in the media, like myself, who is just having a normal conversation with these dudes. And then I will agree with Rocco and Addi both. Altmaier was the most commanding quarterback, in my opinion, at the line of scrimmage in the huddle. You could see him changing protections, changing the plays at the line. You could hear him from the stands. So I thought I was very impressed with that.
Love that. Quick question. I'll put all of you on the spot. Quick yes or no answer is fine. We'll start with you, Addi, and just go down the line. We got Fernando Mendoza. We got likely Ty Simpson. Let's assume they're fantasy draftable in the first 4 rounds. How many other quarterbacks are fantasy draftable? You can just give me a number. 0. Rocco?
1 as a project guy we just talked about.
Taylen Green. Mike?
Yeah, I'm probably only going to be stashing Taylen Green, and that's it. I'm not super interested in Nuss. I guess it also depends on Trinidad Shambles, if anything happens with him. If he does decide to join the NFL draft or just keep suing the NCAA, who knows what's going on with that. Really depends on him. He would be somebody I'd be interested in, but the guys that we saw this weekend and the rest of the draft class itself, I'm not super interested in.
Yeah, I hear that. To be fair, Chambliss might make more money suing the NCAA than he will ever make in the NFL, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Addi, your takeaway, what do you got?
Yeah, the big takeaway I want to give is that the short receivers actually showed out. We have a pretty flat wide receiver class. In general, we typically have a bit more of a top-heavy one, and obviously we have the 3 guys of Lemon, Tyson, Tate at the top of the board. But after that, there are about 20 guys that I'd have all in the same ballpark, everywhere from Jakobi Lane all the way down to Barion Brown, Denzel Boston. Honestly, I have him in that same sort of mix. So I really liked what I saw from some of the shorter kings out there. Like Barion Brown was making people miss left and right. And my favorite sleeper of the entire weekend was Cyrus Allen, who coming out of Cincinnati, smaller receiver, about 5'10", 180. He was making people miss consistently over the first few days. And when I interviewed with him, he was talking about his favorite route combinations. And he was like, the second they call it slant, that's really when I get a chance to shine. I can take that route any number of directions, which is an awesome thing to hear because, one, slant route's a real small route to take in a lot of different directions, but he was making people miss. He was consistently open, and I love to see that from a smaller name and a smaller stature player because there's a role for that guy in the NFL.
Did you say he was your favorite wide receiver or just one that you were pleasantly surprised by?
He was my favorite by the end just because no one's talking about Cyrus Allen. They had Lewis Bond out there. They had Anderson. They had Barion Brown. They had tons of guys that were actually supposed to be highly touted prospects, and he was the one that stood out for me the most. So I love seeing a guy jump up the board like Tyren Montgomery and Ted Hurst are kind of in that same mold where you came in thinking, okay, maybe these guys make a name for themselves, and they absolutely stood out.
Awesome.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm sorry to just piggyback off what he's saying. I was way more impressed with the wide receiver position this week than I originally planned to be coming into the week. So that was good to see because I wasn't sure what was going to happen after the top 4 or 5 guys are off the board.
Well, I was going to ask you, Mike, I was going to jump over to you because I know you interviewed Ted Hurst and Addi mentioned him. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about Ted.
I really liked the things that I've seen on Ted Hurst's film. And I was pleasantly happy with what I saw at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, there's the raw tools, the raw athletic tools are there, the size, the speed, the change of direction stuff. I will say he's going to have to get a little bit better at separating, obviously, because again, it's usually harder for these 6'3" dudes to just consistently separate. So I understand that. He was doing it at Georgia State. He was doing it at not a super consistent level at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, the level and talent has jumped going from Georgia State to going up against the top guys. So I was very happy to see with what he looked like in person. The size stands out. The jump ball mentality stands out. You know, I asked him about that. The T. Higgins comp definitely makes sense. I'm very interested to see where he goes in the draft now because I think a lot of the NFL guys are high on him. I'm going to be high on him. There's a guy that these two are high on that I think I'm higher on, Ted Hurst, than I am this other wide receiver that I'm sure Rocco and Addi are both going to bring up at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah, I think we'll get into it now just after this. Maybe this is jokes. Maybe this is real. Check in with your boy, Addi. See what's up with Chev. Chev, hopefully everything's okay. Maybe he's just messing with you. Rocco, do you want to talk about that wide receiver?
Addi's checking his text messages right now. He's like, oh, no.
Yeah, check it out.
What is Chev in trouble with?
Drop everything. Chev's in trouble.
The beacon is lit.
Rocco, I think Mike's referring to a certain wide receiver from USC. You want to tell us about him?
Oh, yeah. I was super impressed. I know there was a mixed bag, but me and Addi were kind of impressed with Jakobi Lane. I think he has some similar issues to a lot of big guys that we saw at the Senior Bowl. You know, some of the press stuff he's got to work on, some of his release packages. But by day 3, it seemed like he was getting consistently off the line. But I mean, he just looked so smooth. It looked like when he made his break, he can create some separation. He had a couple of nice catches down the field, some long couple touchdown passes down the field in day 2. I just loved what I saw from him. He just looked like one of the most polished guys out there. It didn't seem like he dropped the ball much. On day 1, there was a ball in the dirt, and he showed real good ability to scoop that thing off the ground. It wasn't a great throw at all. It might have been by Pavia because he was just all over the place, but I think I came away from this event being higher on Jakobi Lane, and I think I'm gonna wind up stashing him or taking him in the late first in the few leagues that I have late first in that I've actually kept those picks.
Yeah, love that. Addi, you were a big Kobe Lane truther as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah, without that. I mean, it was funny because when we first started talking about Jakobi Lane, me and Rocco were staying together, so we had a bit of an echo chamber going on in the Airbnb in Mobile. And Mike walked in and quickly was like, I've actually seen the exact opposite. And that's one of the cool things you get about these scouting events. Like, you get to hear other people's process and see where it's coming from. The thing about Jakobi Lane that stood out for me was really the polish. Like, Rocco hit that nail on the head because when he was out there, you saw those agility drills, and I know you can't take that much from guys in their underwear stretching on the field, but when it comes down to it, like the first day, Jakobi Lane was absolutely wrecking the drills. He was making every play. He was the fastest guy in and out of his breaks. By the end of the weekend, though, it was kind of interesting because you saw Ted Hurst and Malachi Fields really catch up to him. You saw the footwork start to develop. They looked more comfortable. Jakobi Lane, the one thing that he did that really stood out for me is he was able to get himself open in the short area of the field. Like, we all knew that he was going to be able to get those contested catches. He was doing it at USC, and he was doing it with Malachi Lemon on the other side of the field, which is pretty much the best type of target competition you can get from this draft class. So seeing him be able to look polished and to be able to run every route in the route tree is really what I think he needs to vault himself up from like the 4th, 5th round into the 2nd or 3rd round of the NFL draft. I would love to see him go to a place like Pittsburgh or Baltimore where he could really polish up his game and end up becoming a wide receiver 1 at some point, or at least complimentary wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I totally think that's fair, but maybe we have to throw a little cold water on it, and I'll pitch it to Mike on Kobe Lane. 12 touchdowns in his sophomore season, 4 touchdowns this season. What the hell happened, and what can we expect in the NFL? Mike, what do you think?
A very Cedric Tillman-esque wide receiver, right? And I had big hopes for I had big hopes for Cedric Tillman. It's just not happening. Between injuries and just not consistently separating, it's just not really gone that way. And maybe that's kind of what I see for Jakobi Lane in the NFL. One thing I told Addi and Rocco and every person that I met this week, that especially the guys that are new to the Senior Bowl, is you're going to have different opinions from a lot of different people, right? We all see things differently. We all get a different vantage point from the way we see things. And you're all going to get there's nothing wrong with differencing of opinions.
You see everything from higher up than us, actually.
It's a good point.
He's seeing things from the all 22 vantage. So
I only saw the first half of every play.
Hey, we're like Pavia. We have to like look over the line and stay on be on our tippy toes, but from down there it looked really good.
I will say, as long as Addi's not cursing out anybody from a different part of Chicago than he's from, then that's a funny story. But I will say, Lane, I agree with them. Day 3 looked better to me than he did the first 2 days. He had some big plays, and I think that's kind of why he looked better down the field. Go get it balls. But he wasn't doing the go get it balls where it was the 50-50 stuff that kind of is what made him famous in college football, right? I think the feet are a bit slow. He kind of moves to me like a giraffe a little bit. And that's not always the worst thing. That always can be cleaned up a little bit, right? And it is off-putting the defender, so maybe that'll end up working for him. But I don't know if I see it. I don't know if I see the vertical speed. I don't see the nuance and the change of direction or anything like that. But again, when the big plays happen, you see those things. So maybe it's just a consistency thing he needs to clean up.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. That remains to be. Oh, go ahead.
And I will say, for whatever reason, he absolutely just loved running directly into people during his routes. Just as like, instead of trying to like juke somebody, he was just like, I'm just going to try to run through him. And I thought he would get a little bit more push out of those things, but the DBs were standing their ground.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's do this. I think we'll throw it to Rocco. Rocco, come get your boy. Skyler Bell. What do you say to Huncho here?
Bell.
I don't have any opinions on Skyler Bell. What you think, Mike?
I like Skyler Bell a little bit. That's a UConn wide receiver who was down at the Shrine Bowl, who has, I've seen very positive things out of him, especially from a route running standpoint. And I saw that on film as well. So I'm very interested to see how he looks, during the combine and everything like that, because the athletic ability seems to be there. So yeah, and I think he came in at a decent size at the Shrine Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to look that up, but I do like Skyler Bell as well.
Yeah, I mean, if Huncho likes him, he's the scouting college player half of Fourth and Fantasy. So if he likes him, I'll take another look at him.
Rocco froze up there like when he met Caleb Douglas.
I like your interview. Addi did a real good job being the cameraman.
So, quick backstory on that.
Yeah,
I interviewed Caleb Douglas, and for whatever reason, Addison decided not to tell me that we were directly in the sun. Yeah. As Rich famously said, Mike Anthony coming to you live from the surface of the sun with Caleb Douglas. Exactly. And then Rocco proceeds right after me to interview him and goes, I'm Rocco and I'm here with, all right, so introduce yourself to everybody.
And he did so, and I still forgot his name at the end. And I've been watching this guy all week. I actually interviewed him at the podium, and he's a very thoughtful guy. Like, if you ask him good questions, he's not going to give you like a canned answer. He's going to think through your question and answer it very thoughtfully. And I feel really bad, Mr. Douglas. That was all me. It was day 3, and I didn't have a lot of gas left. And I asked him, my kids are always doing this. What's 6'7"? And
he hit him with the oldest man. He hit him with the oldest man question he could think of.
Yeah.
Good work.
Rocco took Senior Bowl to a new meaning.
Yeah. I think I caught dementia right before I asked him a question.
Love that. Alex, appreciate you joining us. We talked a bit about Tyren Montgomery a few minutes ago. Guys, give me your 10-second elevator pitch, Addi. Tyren Montgomery.
Tyren Montgomery is a legit NFL receiver. We've seen this from plenty of small school guys, Jalen Coker, other dudes coming into the draft that are a little bit lanky coming out of smaller schools. Tyren Montgomery is able to make people miss. He has the physicality. If he gets his hands cleaned up, he'll be a legitimate receiver for an NFL franchise.
Rocco, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, he was just he was impressive all week. The ball found its way his way. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a guy we have to keep an eye on. I want to see how he tests at the combine, and he's a guy that could sneak his way onto some of my rosters.
And Mike, once more on Montgomery.
One thing you guys didn't mention was the vertical that he had. Me and Mike Cash looked at each other and just, jaw-dropping, levitating to win a 50-50 ball. That was good to see from a guy who was listed at 5'11". So the vertical also stood out to me, along with all the route running stuff we had already talked about.
Yep. And we also talked about the fact he's only been playing for about 2 years. He kind of was a college basketball recruit, walked on to LSU. COVID happened. He joined a flag football league, sent in some highlights tape, ended up at John Carroll, impressed his way to the Senior Bowl, and has looked great so far. Also, Alex, we're going to be posting this on our videos as well after the live is done, so you can check out what we talked about on Tyren Montgomery there.
And Dynasty Dog audio too.
Oh, that's right. Yes, sir. Crispy, what is up? We have not talked yet about Reggie Virgil. It's a good time to do so. Texas Tech wide receiver. Huncho said he was getting locked up. What do we think about Reggie Virgil? Anyone who has a strong opinion can go first.
I'll go.
I don't think he got locked up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think he got locked up. I think he was a casualty of Diego Pavia and Sawyer Robinson more than anything else.
Yeah,
Like,
good point.
we saw a little bit from Caleb Douglas there, and I think that shows why Caleb Douglas should be rated as a better prospect than Virgil from those Texas Tech guys, because at least Caleb Douglas was able to make something happen. Virgil was getting himself open. He had the ball thrown his way a lot, but to be honest, like, the ball was in the dirt so much more in the first half of practice than the second half. Like, it was hard to evaluate any receiver from the first half of the day because it seemed like the only guy they could consistently get the ball to was Josh Cameron out of Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Any other Virgil takes?
Yeah, I think both Texas Tech guys showed out pretty well, just in different ways. I think Virgil got more opportunities. I think he also showed better vertical speed than Caleb Douglas. To me, there was a play deep down the sideline. It was a one-on-one drill where he looked like he had been locked up, but then he just vertically separated at the top of the route to win a go ball. And the speed jumped out to me right then and there. I was super impressed by him. He's got the size as well. I believe he was listed at 6'1", 6'2", or 6'1", closer to 6'2". So that was good to see. He's got the speed advantage over Douglas. I think Douglas has the route running chops, but I think you're not going to be disappointed with the Texas Tech guys in the draft.
Huncho wanted to clarify that he's talking about Tyren Montgomery getting locked up on some plays.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think he was pretty open most of the first 2 days.
Alex, we appreciate you. Thank you. We're going to get to the next segment here, which is risers. So let's kind of a name that we haven't discussed. We didn't dive into running backs at all. Not that there were many to dive into. But this could also be back. Oh, yeah. Well, let's start with you, Rocco. Who you got as a riser at running back? I think it's the same guy we all got here.
Mike Washington is a guy that you need to be paying attention to essentially after the top few guys go. I mean, he's 228 pounds. And guys seem like they were you're going to have to make business decisions with him. You know, the other impressive thing is for a guy that size, he had 28 catches this year, which is I think me and Addi were talking about the threshold is like 25. So he shows that he can do that, and he showed that at the Senior Bowl. We talked about how the quarterbacks didn't want to throw downfield. Well, the ball was finding its way to Washington quite a lot out of the backfield, and he looked smooth. He looked like he had clean hands. He's a guy that I'm going to be in on, because when you're that big and you can catch the ball, he was a good interview. I mean, there are very few negatives with Mike Washington coming out of this Senior Bowl. And one other thing I want to talk about is that you know, his elusive rating wasn't that great. But also the Razorbacks had the 75th ranked run blocking scheme in college football. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it. Maybe being 2-9 or whatever it is had a little bit to do with it. But I think he looks super clean coming out of the Senior Bowl, and he's going to find his way on a lot of my teams.
Yeah, and I think he was one of the fastest running backs.
He was the
20 miles per hour.
Fastest running back and second fastest player overall in the Senior Bowl. At 228, playing the running back position, he moves so well. Obviously, I posted some of his bag work on X. I also have a route that he ran against one-on-ones that I forgot to post as well. But he juked a dude out of his shoes. I meant to post that. But again, this dude can move for a big fella, and I cannot wait to jump into the tape on Mike Washington. Yeah, he has an every down skill set from what we can see.
Yeah.
Addi, what do you got?
I mean, who am I to continue gassing up Mike Washington here? Yeah, I'll go in a different direction.
Go for it.
We wanted to see a lot from Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen. Those were the two names that going into this weekend, everyone said to keep an eye on. We've had plenty of running backs break out in the Senior Bowl. I don't know that we really saw them break out here, but the one thing I would say is that Kaytron Allen between the tackles did look like the best running back on the entire field.
100%
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Without a doubt. And the second he got outside of the tackles or had to catch a football, he looked like the worst running back at the Senior Bowl. So it's worth noting that guy really didn't showcase a 3-down skill set. But between the 20s, like, you can't ask for a more talented running back. He was one of the top 5 fastest backs at the Senior Bowl. Him and Singleton both were clocking in around the high 18-mile-per-hour mark, which really shows that they're probably going to be in that 4.4 to 4.5 40 range. And I think Kaytron Allen's going to be probably the highest drafted guy from the Senior Bowl. But I'm with these guys. Mike Washington, one of my favorite interviews. Didn't miss a beat when I accidentally dropped my mic down his shirt, so can respect it, and seemed like an absolutely stellar human.
Nice.
Crispy.
Pro move.
Okay.
Speaking of pro moves, Nicholas Singleton is Raheem Sanders North response from anyone here.
He's not wrong. He was not wrong. It's unfortunate what happened to him, but with the broken foot, I believe it was. But he didn't really do anything to impress me this week.
Yeah.
You mentioned the speeds. Him and Kaytron Allen had, I believe, the exact same speed. And I think Allen was slightly higher after the first day. And I was like, that can't be right, because everyone keeps saying what an athletic freak Nick Singleton is compared to Kaytron Allen. I think Kaytron Allen had the 2 longest runs of the first day too, just following blocks up the middle, vision-wise with the 1-jump cut stuff. So I was very impressed with him as well. It's just the hands. The hands were not great for Kaytron Allen this week.
That's understatement.
Well, and I was looking up in our comp database on League Champ a little bit while we were talking about this. One of the top comps I had for Kaytron Allen was Tank Bigsby, and I see that 120%. Shaky hands, but just a fantastic runner between the 20s.
That's fair. Rocco, either Kaytron Allen or Nick Singleton. Tell us about one of these guys. Pick one.
I'll say that Kaytron Allen looked more impressive throughout the whole entire process. Between the two, he kind of showed out. Like Addi said, he had some long runs, and he looked more athletic than Nick Singleton. Just to kind of build on what Mike Anthony was saying, Dynasty Dog, and that was surprising, because all I've heard is that Kaytron Allen isn't athletic. That's what's going to hold him back. If he can do anything with his hands, I'm going to be interested with him. But I mean, he was dropping in a multitude of ways. He was double catching. He was putting the ball on the ground when somebody breathed on him. Is that a word? Breathed.
Sure.
Today it is.
Okay. He breathed on him. Fart noises made him drop the ball. Fart noises from Nicholas Singleton made him drop the ball. I'm struggling here, but yeah, I think I'm gonna be with on Kaytron Allen over either of them. But I think the answer is to trade out of those picks if anybody likes those guys.
Well, let me ask you a quick one, and this is pure speculation, Rocco, but because of Nicholas Singleton and the injury, where do we think he ends up in rookie drafts? Is he second round, third, fourth round, like dart throw territory? What are we thinking about Nicholas Singleton when it's all said and done after the process?
I think it's going to be hard, because is he going to be able to test at all? I mean, he has a broken ankle, and
probably not.
Him looking good at the combine is the only thing I think that would have propped him up a little bit. Like if he ran a sub 4.5. He looked the part. Somebody would draft him in the second round just because of his pedigree as a high schooler, not because of anything he did at Penn State, but with a broken ankle. I don't think he's going to even have time by his pro day to really do much. Maybe the third round just because, he was a Debbie darling at some point. But based on what he's done in his career and what he did at the Senior Bowl, I'm thinking third round rookie draft at best.
Yeah. I would tend to agree with you, but Crispy does not. He says mid to late second. Addi, what do you think? This seems a little aggressive.
If he didn't get hurt, I'd be right there with Crispy. He was fast enough. You can't evaluate a running back at the Senior Bowl, to be honest. Mike Washington looks great. You can get something out of the route running package, but between the 20s, it's really kind of like the quarterbacks. You saw Nuss not really try and throw the ball downfield because he was trying not get himself hurt. He's playing prevent offense right there. And I think that's what you're going to see for most of the running backs. The best you can do is not put the ball on the ground. The best you can do is not mess up. Singleton looked fine over the first 2 days, but with an injury, that's going to be hugely consequential. This is a deep running back class with a lot of good names. Jonah Coleman, Jadarian Price, Kaytron Allen, Mike Washington. Those guys are going to push Singleton down the board. I would have had him around 208 prior to his injury, but after the injury, I can't take him reasonably outside of the late to mid third.
Yeah, that's fair. And we got Chev trying to trap us. Careful with this one. Would you comp Kaytron to Tank Bigsby or Clayton Bigsby? Don't answer that question, by the way.
He's always trying to get us.
Good stuff. Well, here's a good one about Jaydn Ott. Let's switch gears quickly before we get canceled. How's Ott been? Does anyone feel good, bad, neutral? Whoever's got an opinion can jump in.
He didn't really do anything at all that impressed me, or I was hoping for more, because he was a guy who, again, a Debbie darling, especially in the beginning, who was fallen off, who still has the opportunity to kind of build himself up, and he didn't really show out, to be honest with you. I was kind of disappointed.
He had one good pass blocker rep where he just locked up a guy, but besides that, I didn't notice him, throughout the whole 3 days.
Yeah,
I kept forgetting who he was, to be honest with you. I was like, who's the Oklahoma helmet out there?
I thought he had two of the most exciting plays out there, but they were both for the defense. In one-on-ones, he got hit harder than I've ever seen anyone get hit in my life, and on a goal line run, he lost, I think, 25 yards.
Oh, Chev, killing us today. Love it. But yeah, so considering pass pro, is he someone who we would be at all interested in because maybe he'll be on the field?
Not really.
I don't think he'll be on the field long if he has to pass pro.
Yeah, no, fair.
I would rather take a gamble on a guy who impressed me this week, who I honestly knew nothing about, and that would be Jamari Taylor from Virginia.
Yes.
Smaller guy, shifty, quick. Obviously, they're not really hitting at the Senior Bowl, right?
Yep.
But he's going up against D tackles, obviously bouncing off them. I was impressed by that. Showed some good hands. He did have a one-handed catch in the red zone drills. So I liked him. I came up very, very interested in Jamari Taylor and jumping into his film. I don't think he's going to be a high-end, third round NFL draft pick, fourth round, maybe fifth, sixth. It'll be interesting to see, but he's a guy I'll probably take some flyer owns just because of what I saw from an elusive nature down there.
Fair. FF Canuck, what is up? Thanks for joining us. I think Chev's talking about your guy Taylor. Prepare him to run a 4.4 and be a 7th round pick. We'll see. Look, there's going to be a lot of names out here. This is a kind of a crazy class. We already have some ideas of some names, but let's just very quickly jump into a caller or two. What's that?
Jamari Taylor's in the book of secrets is what Chev is alluding to. So that's a good thing. I don't think he was talking about him here. I think he was talking about
I just realized who Clayton Bigsby is.
Oh God.
I mean, phenomenal sketch from Chappelle. But, yeah. We'll leave that there. Go Google that.
I did.
Hilarious. Ridiculous stuff.
Memory is not my strong suit.
Well, let's do this. Any quick fallers? We already talked about Singleton with the injury. Of course, we were just talking about Jaydn Ott. Anyone who stands out as like somebody who just did not come to play this week?
I'll hit this one. I did a prospect profile on Seth McGowan before we actually got to the Senior Bowl, and he comes in at full real-life running back size. He's about Jonathan Taylor's size. He theoretically should be very fast. At Kentucky, he was basically their entire offense and got about 1 trillion carries. He only got a long run of about 30 to 40 yards every year of his college career, and that showed up at the Senior Bowl. That guy was getting blown up. He put the ball on the ground. He looked okay pass-catching drills. To be honest, his feet looked really polished. He looked like a running back that could play in the NFL, but that just didn't have that it factor. Like when you watched him versus a Mike Washington and Jamari Taylor, you just saw those guys seeming to put it all out on the line, where you saw McGowan seem to hesitate, like stutter step, and not really put his best foot forward.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, we just don't know how these guys are going to show. Obviously, some guys kind of stepped out and looked fantastic. Sometimes the guys just don't come to play, and we hope that they, through the combine process and the interviews, we hope they get some steam and find what we were assuming they would be. But yeah, it sucks when those guys don't show out at the Senior Bowl. Anybody else for you guys who didn't get it done?
Yeah, I mean, I already touched on the quarterback, so I won't go back to that well. But I didn't really notice Max Clare a lot. Ohio State tight end seemed like he had some drops. I know he was used mostly as a blocker last year, and he seems to have settled on that because he did not much in the passing game. I didn't notice him much at all. But yeah, that's probably my guy that I probably won't have much of.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And Mike, you got one?
Yeah, I would say I expected a little bit more out of Adam Randall. The speed or the size was there. The pass catching was there. Yeah. Obviously, he's not been a running back very long, so we'll see how that continues to go. I honestly also expected more out of a majority of the tight ends, a little bit more.
Yep.
Tanner Koziel really didn't stand out to me, aside for maybe the last day, who finally started making some plays. The two guys Chev asked about, one of them showed out. The other one had a couple nice plays. Josh Sivas, I don't know how to say it exactly. Cuevas, thank you. To be honest with you, he made some really nice adjustments to the ball, like late hands, really nice grabs in the red zone. So he jumped out to me just from a pure hand standpoint. I know the talk around him was he's more of a blocking tight end. I haven't watched him yet, so bear with me. I just heard some people saying he's more of a blocking tight end than a receiving, but he showed some really solid handwork. In general this week. So I was very excited to see that. Yeah, phrasing exactly. And Joe Lay, the first 2 days I had seen at least 3 flags of defensive holding or defensive pass interference against Joe Lay, which means to me is that defenses are panicking because of the way he moves. Right. And I'm impressed by that. He made some really nice red zone plays. He moves fluid for a tight end. He kind of reminds me of a wide receiver playing tight end. He's a guy I'm going to be taking flyers on in the second round, depending on how high he goes in the NFL draft. Could be even higher than that. And then Sam Roche, I see at the bottom here, Nebraska tight end. He was a guy that kind of stood out as well. Yeah, just strong hands, showed some decent movement skills. Wasn't afraid to get physical either with these contested catch balls. So I was good to see him out there as well. There were like Koziel, I think, is probably why the tight ends didn't stand out to me as much, because that's who I was really expecting to see just from a statistical standpoint and the things I had seen on television with him. But I just didn't really see. There was, I think, one play Koziel made to me the entire week.
Fair. Was Jolie the guy who went up in the back of the end zone and kind of, twisted around and had that nice
that was the one I shared.
Yeah. That athleticism is really important for tight ends. We know this is true, but well, let's do this. Let's go. Who do we have? We have Sadiq. So obviously he's probably our consensus one. He's probably a consensus one for fantasy for sure. Who are your 2 with 3 at tight end, and anyone else you want to mention? Addi, we'll start with you and go down the line.
Yeah. I mean, I still got Stowers above the guys from this group, but personally, Jolie, I like. He comps on our database to Hendershot, a couple other guys with a little bit of athleticism, Tonjes. He was fine. I thought he looked okay. That anyone that had the ball getting thrown to them in the first day was really hard to evaluate, or in the first half of practice was really hard to evaluate. The guys in the second half weren't. And Sam Roush in the first 2 days of practice was absolutely dominant in his route running. He was about the only tight end that looked polished in route running. He comped in our database Tucker Kraft, which is a huge call out to me because I think Tucker is incredible. And I also thought Roush was just about the best interview too. The guy's learning guitar, big Radiohead fan. So, that matters a lot for me in my fantasy draft. It's strong fingers really help you grasp the balls and tug it, phrasing.
Hey, listen, you got to do everything all at once at tight end and keep everything in its place, right? So, Rocco, what you got here? Is it Stowers at 2 for you? And then who do you have at 3?
Yeah, I like Stowers, Kenyon, Sadiq. I also like Roush. Do yourself a favor and Google this guy. He's wearing like the Revenge of the Nerds glasses that look like they broke, and he's got tape around the middle of it. Nice. So man, that's the kind of guy that I want to invest in. But yeah, I mean, like watching him, like everything Addi said, his hips don't lie. He looked like he can, move those hips pretty good to turn back for the ball, going down the seam.
That was a good one.
Crazy.
That was a good one.
But yeah, he's a guy that you won't have to take early. Disrespecting Tucker Kraft like this is crazy. but yeah. Like if if you're gonna draft guys based on awesome personalities, that's the kind of guys I want on my team. I want the kind of guys that are gonna lift up the rest of my fantasy team. Guy that's going to be the practical joker, the guy that's going to play Guitar Hero with the guys. Yeah, get that guy on my team.
Yeah, every good fantasy team needs a good, solid locker room presence for sure. Mike, what are you on with tight ends? We got Sadiq. Who else?
Sadiq, Jolie, Stowers. Is that how you say it? Did I say that right? I always get mixed up with his. Roche is now on my radar. There's a guy at SMU, not the one that was down at the Senior Bowl, but RJ Maryland kind of intrigues me still. He had a really nice year last year, I believe it was, had an ACL injury. That's a guy I'm going to be, taking some dart throws on. Michael Trigg was the guy who was supposed to be at the Senior Bowl, backed out, that a lot of people are high on coming into this draft class. And I will say a guy who I don't really know much about at all, and he doesn't have a statistical profile. Good luck finding any Wyoming film. But what is it? Michael John Glenenberg?
Yeah.
It's Michael Glenenberg from Wyoming.
He was impressive as well, yeah.
He was moving pretty solid out there for
fast.
A Wyoming tight end, yeah. I'll be interested to see what he looks like on film. So that's a name to keep an eye on. He's probably going to be a 5th-round guy, 6th-round guy probably at best. But it's sometimes you find gold at the tight end position from the NFL draft because, Arande was a 5th or 6th round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Who else? Mark Andrews went after who in the NFL draft with the Ravens?
Hurst.
Hayden Hurst, that's who it was. Yeah. So, again, you can find guys later in the draft and the early round guys every once in a while. So just be on the lookout for some of these dudes. Jolet really, I think, is going to move up to me. I just got to do a little bit more on Stowers.
Yeah.
Is it
Tucker
Jolet?
Kraft was,
I thought it was
Like
Jolet.
Angelina?
Didn't we?
Is he related to Angelina?
is he French? What do
Parlez-vous France?
we-
Is that how you say it in Europe?
listen, we say a lot of things in Europe, but a lot of them I can't say in this podcast. But what we're going, the last thing I want to get you out on here, Tucker Kraft, by the way, was one of those guys as well, who was drafted right behind and kind of
Luke
stood out.
Musgrave.
Yep. One of the, and this is Chevs 2 through 6. One of those, the last things I want to get you guys out of here on is just talking a little bit about where we think some of these guys, we've done it a little bit already, but where we think some of these guys will end up in terms of rookie draft. Where do you think they'll go in a rookie mock now and potentially into the future? And do you think they'll be valuable on a fantasy team? So let's start first with the guy that we talked about, Taylen Green. I know at least one of you said he might be draftable. At least one of you said he was not draftable at all. Mike, we'll start with you because I don't remember where you ended up on him for fantasy. Where would you draft him in a rookie draft of infinite rounds?
Infinite rounds?
Sure.
Fourth rounder. Depending on if he gets like third round capital, maybe I'll even bump that up to like a late third, depending. But again, he'll be a fourth round guy, probably maybe not even drafted, just depending, and just kind of stash him on your taxi squad, depending how deep your leagues are. I see the athletical profile, not the profile, but I literally saw it down there, the athleticism that he has. And to throw he had the longest throw of the week too. We didn't even mention that, 61 yards. Jumping is crazy to think about. So he's a guy I'd stash in the fourth round or even just pick him up off the waiver wire after a draft.
Rocco, how about Mike Washington? Where do you think he ends up in rookie drafts, and how do you feel about him?
I think he can be steamed up all the way into the top, to the top 7. After the top 5, top 6, I think you're going to start looking for a guy like that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So you think what, like mid to late second, early third for sure?
What's that?
Or are you saying top 7 overall?
Top 7 first round.
Okay. All right. That's spicy. I thought you were saying top 7 running back, but to be fair, after Sadiq at 6, I mean, you can pick your flavor and literally pick any of these guys. Mike Washington, if you
I fade tight end, so I'm probably taking him before Sadiq.
I love it. I love that. How about we will pitch you, Addi? We'll go Montgomery. What are you thinking?
I mean, I think you can't take him before the fourth round. Maybe late third if he gets steamed up in the NFL draft process. But this is a good wide receiver class. Like, he is going to drop down the board. I can't see him going in the first 4 rounds of the NFL draft. And if he's not going there, then he probably shouldn't be going in your first 4 rounds of a rookie draft. Mike Washington, the top 7 is crazy. My head's still spinning. Like, geez, I gotta take the hat off. Like,
listen, Rocco.
Obviously, I'm gonna
love it.
Go ahead.
Rocco was the only person I know on this planet Earth that said Harold Fannin was going to outproduce David Njoku on live podcasting. So listen, every once in a while he's going to throw a dart out there like that and be right. So that could be the one.
I'm telling you, Mike Washington's going in my rookie drafts either 6 or 7.
Oh, he did it again.
Love it. I love it. I love it. We should end on there, but I got a few more notes, so let's run through a couple more names here. Your guy, Ted Hurst. Mike, what do you think?
Woo! Second round.
Early, mid?
Late.
Yeah. Late. I think it would have to be potentially third round, but like you said, if
that's
you can
where
separate.
I was leaning. I saw a mock today where he went in the beginning of the second round in the NFL draft.
Damn.
So to the Tennessee, to Chev's Tennessee fucking Titans. So to be honest with you, he might be a fucking first rounder at that point.
Yikes. Rocco, Jakobi Lane.
If he goes in the second round or the third round, I think he's gonna be close to the top 12 for me.
Yep.
First round.
that makes sense. I saw in a rookie mock earlier today that he went at the 112. I think people are putting him in the mid-second, but yeah, a lot will depend on draft capital. If he can
Combine
keep it up,
as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see. What is his 40 as we know it right now? Do we know? No.
As long as he doesn't run a 4.7, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, in the 4.6s for sure. But we did see who's that guy who ended up on Philly with the gigantic wingspan at wide receiver?
Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, the albatross Johnny Wilson. That hasn't translated yet. We'll see. Yeah. So somewhere between Johnny Wilson and Jamar Chase, that's where we have Jakobi Lane. I'll throw a few names at you that we haven't talked about. Addi, Lewis Bond. What are you thinking?
Lewis Bond, I like. I wouldn't take him before the mid-third, but I did think he got open on a pretty consistent basis. He was able to play with the best of them. And honestly, any of those smaller receivers in day two that didn't hit it or didn't mess up like Anderson and actually drop a bunch of balls, I'm going to be pretty high on.
Yeah. Mike, what do you have on Malachi Fields?
Ooh, late second rounder. Or
Okay.
mid-second rounder. I was thinking the NFL draft in my brain. Mid-second rounder in a rookie draft.
And then I'll throw it to Rocco for the last one. Any other wide receivers we haven't talked about that you can think of that were either hits or misses for you?
Did we talk about Cyrus Allen?
A little bit, but go for it.
He was impressive. It just seemed like he was always open. He's like AJ Brown, just always open, always kept getting separation. And a great interview. Addi finally caught him. He'd been running away from interviews all week. And Addi beelined it. He got big dogged by Faraz Sadiq with upper hand fantasy. But we stuck in there. We waited, and we got a good video. Addi stood about 3 feet away because he didn't want to give him the corona or something. So I had to stand like 100 yards back. But I didn't get the glare to block out his whole face. So I think I did a good job. But he's a guy. This is a guy that I think that I'm going to try to be aggressively adding in the third round because he provides a skill set that is very valuable in today's NFL. Is that he can create separation. So he looks a lot like guys that succeed in today's NFL. So I'm going to be sneaking him onto some teams.
Love that one. Guys, well, I think we're going to end it right here. I appreciate all of you for everything that you did for us today. Mike, do you have any final words here?
Yeah, I got 2 more guys that stand out that we didn't talk about. That I did. Well, actually, we might have mentioned his name, Barion Brown from LSU. Had the speed showed out. He had a punt return. Obviously, you could take that for what it is, but again, the speed showed out. He had a couple nice contested catch balls as well for a guy that's smaller. That's good to see. And Kevin Coleman, not to be confused with Kevin Coleman from Debbie Royale, the Missouri wide receiver Kevin Coleman. Quick twitch, was getting open in one-on-one drills, getting it open in team drills. So that's a guy to keep your eyes on. Has some good yak ability too, if I remember correctly from his film and all my notes that I have. So that's a guy to keep an eye on. Those are the 2 guys that we probably could have mentioned. Again, I did not have great expectations coming in for this wide receiver grouping coming in, and I was pleasantly happy. That's 2 positives there, but that's how good I feel about this class. Much better than I do the entire running back class.
Nice. Mike, let's have you plug Dynasty Dogs first, and we'll get to these guys to wrap it up.
So, yeah, you can find me at Dynasty Dog Mike on X. You can find my co-host at Dynasty Dog Rich, who is blowing up my phone because the Royal Rumble is starting any second now. You can find us on the FFU universe or the FFU YouTube page. You can find us in the Discord as well. That'll be in the description below, I'm sure. And you'll find this audio on the Dynasty Dog podcast page as well. So just make sure you're, jumping on with us. And I gave the keys to the doghouse tonight to Jeremy. So that's how. A dog is barking. Good timing.
Love it.
Perfect.
Rocco, talk to us.
This guy has it rough. That's all I can say. 6 dogs. He's got it really, really rough. Siriaco Solar FF. You can call me Rocco. That's where you can find.
Oh, can't find him anymore.
He said
fourth and out. Fourth and out.
Well, listen, we'll plug him. We'll make sure everything is here in the description for you. Addi, talk to us, man.
Hey, and Mike, that's actually not your dog. My one is a little bit less well behaved, evidently. But Rocco's on 4th in fantasy. I can help him out there with tagging. But I'm Addi. I am running the 2 Guys 1 Pod show on YouTube. You can find us on the FFD feed. We also have the League Champ app, little duck logo. We're giving away free jerseys all throughout the offseason. We got a couple contests going on for the draft. Should help us shape a little bit of Devy ADP in there, which will be really fun. It's been great mobbing on here, and I really appreciate you having us on the show, Jeremy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining. Rocco, can you speak? Can you tell us what's going on?
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
We got you.
I think my Thunderbolt just went out, so I'm just going off of my laptop here. I think I do have the best setup out of these 2 guys after meeting them, so they were very impressed with all of the equipment that I brought with me. But yeah,
you left half of it.
I left. I could have brought more, but I did leave my my monitor, so I had to drive back to Mobile. Luckily, I'm 2 hours away in NOLA. But you can find us on YouTube. We do a podcast twice a week with my good friend Huncho, and you can find all of our stuff: Discord, YouTube, Twitter. 4th in fantasy. That's the number 4th in fantasy. You can find it in the description, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll throw everything in the description for these guys so you can find them. You can find us here at the Fantasy Football Universe. We're going to be doing weekly shows leading up. We're going to have a ton of rookie mock drafts. We got Dynasty Dogs. We got the Devy Planet, which is dropping articles and has a Substack as well. So check that out. You can join our Discord. You can just drop us a line, chat with us about anything and everything and for fantasy and forever. We appreciate you joining us. So for Mike, for Rocco, for Addi, and for Addi's dog, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
FFU.